Hey folks, welcome to my channel. Since my childhood, I've been interested in history. Going to school, I read any book I could get about ancient Greece, Egypt and Rome. The Eternal City and its history occupies a special place in my heart, and what a coincidence, today I am in Rome. In my opinion, the most fascinating period of the Roman history is that of the Republic. Just look how many things, good and bad, happened at that time. The rise of Rome between 400 and 300 BC, the Punic Wars when Rome and Carthage were sorting out who was the boss in the Mediterranean, the Gallic Wars when, let's face the truth, Julius Caesar was solving his financial difficulties in the region that is nowadays France, and finally the civil war unleashed by Mark Antony and Octavian that finished the Republic and gave way to the Empire. By the way, that twist of the plot is pretty familiar, isn't it? Whatever period of the Roman history we take, either Republican or Imperial, the center of the social, political and religious life in the city remains the same. It's the Forum. As you might know, there are several forums that have survived to our days. One original forum and its 5 imperial siblings. In this series of videos, I'm gonna talk about the original forum or just the Roman forum, and let alone the other ones. Perhaps we will talk about them later. Today, the Roman Forum is nothing but a ruin. All you can see there are white bones of temples and grey stumps of columns. It's hard to imagine the buildings that once stood on their places. So, let's turn around and look back through the time. Let's try to reconstruct the Forum with all its hubbub, crime and glory. But the Forum of what period are we going to reconstruct? From what I said before, you might say the Republican one, but no. It would be a damn difficult task to make episodes like let's reconstruct the Forum of the Punic Wars period. So to say, the Forum between 264 BC up to 146 BC. That video would require a lot of computer graphics, because guess what? Most of the buildings, which remnants you can see today in the Forum, have a label made in the Empire, pretty much like that scene. The Empire has erased almost all the traces of the Republic, so what I suggest is to talk about each building in the Forum, regardless of the period it belongs to, in a series of separate videos. I think that will be the most optimal way to do it. So, let's start. The main street that led to the Forum was the Via Sacra or Sacred Road. You can see the remnants of it right there. The direction of its segment crossing the Forum has changed just a bit through the centuries, so next time you find yourself walking on those grey slabs of volcanic tuff, think that you tread in the steps of Caesar or Virgil or whatever Roman character you like. If you walk along the Via Sacra from the Colosseum towards the Capitoline Hill, then to the left of you lies the Temple of Vesta. It's the building I would like to talk about in this first episode. You can easily recognize the Temple of Vesta due to its circular footprint. Temples with a shape like that are called tolos. The Temple of Vesta has been a part of the Forum since the 7th century BC. In other words, since a time when Rome was an insignificant town in Italy and all its military campaigns were nothing but simple raids on its neighbor's territory to steal the cattle. As the legend goes, the first version of the temple was built by the order of Nume Pompilius, the second king of Rome, known for his piety. Vesta was the goddess of home and family, and Nume wanted to secure her protection for the entire city. However, I feel like that legend lacks some interesting bits. Say a conversation that could have happened between Nume and his skeptical fellow tribesmen. Nume asked the skeptical tribesmen, "Are you sure that if we build this temple and make 6 virgin ladies sustain a blazing flame inside it, that will solve the problem of infant mortality, reduce the degree of falling sick with malaria, and guarantee the prosperity of our state?" Nume would frown at such a stupid and openly heretical question, and would answer, "Of course it will, you bloody fool! Get back to work!" We don't know if that conversation ever happened, but what we know is that Roman people, under the rule of Nume Pompilius, built a small, round temple with a cone-shaped roof. It looked like the Temple of Hercules Victor, located in Piazza Bocca della Verità, yet with less elaborated columns. It's an interesting fact that there was a time when people thought that the Temple of Hercules was indeed the Temple of Vesta because they look much alike. After Nume Pompilius ordered to build the shrine, he realized that there had to be someone who would serve in that shrine. So he established the College of the Vestal Virgins. We will talk about them in detail in the next episode, when we will have a look at the house where they used to live. In the meantime, we need to know that there were 6 Vestals, and their main task was to keep alive the sacred flame burning inside the temple. Ordinary citizens could see a thin stream of smoke produced by this flame coming out from the opening in the cone-shaped roof. The temple was considered the hearse of the Roman state, and it was well known that until the flame burned, the city would be safe. As any construction in ancient world, the Temple of Vesta burned down several times, but was rebuilt again and again. Roman influence grew, the borders of the state expanded, so new materials were used for the reconstructions. The latest version of the temple, which remnants have survived to our days, had the high circular podium laid with marble slabs and 20 Corinthian columns rising from it. Another interesting fact about the temple is that, according to the legend, there was a secret chamber, called Penus Vestae, just beneath the hearse. It was the place where the Vestal Virgins kept the city's cult objects, such as the Palladium. The Palladium was a wooden statue of Athena that had been brought by Aeneas from demolished Troy. Now just think of it. According to the latest archaeological evidences, the Achaeans sacked Priam's Troy at some point in the 13th century BC. How on earth could the wooden statue last for 500 years and did not rot? I wonder if the most open-minded persons in Rome, who knew that Troy had fallen long time ago, ever posed that question to themselves. Had any of them ever assumed that the Roman ideals of purity, as the Vestal Virgins presented themselves, probably deceived the entire city? No? Summing up, the Temple of Vesta is one of the oldest temples in the Roman Forum. Different versions of it have been occupying the site where you can see it today since the 7th century BC. Despite all the salt that I've poured on authenticity of the cult objects kept in the temple, Roman citizens never cast doubt on the origin of the artifacts and their significance for the city. That's all for today, thank you for watching. If you like the content on my channel, please subscribe. Have a nice day, bye!